Okay guys, let's look at question 5 from May-June 2021 past exam. So the question is from DBE. Okay, this is the question 5. You can see you have 7 questions to answer from 5.1 to 5.7. So the question is from May-June 2021 past exam paper. Okay, let me get the question. Okay, this is question 5. So you can see the question is on parabola and linear graph. There is the parabola and there is the line, you can see. So the question is, sketched below are the graphs of f of x. There's the equation of f of x, and g of x. There's the equation of g of x. A and B are the x-intercept of f. C is the turning point of f. There's C, the turning point of f, and there's A and B. You are told that A and B are the x-intercept of f. Okay, let's start with 5.1. So 5.1, the question says calculate the coordinate of A and B. And this question is 3 marks. Okay, so you need to calculate the coordinate of A and B. You can see A and B are the x-intercept of f. You are told that A and B are the x-intercept of f. You can see. Okay, so to get the x-intercept, what you do is to make y equal to 0. Okay, so you say to get the x-intercept, you let y equal to 0. So you are going to make y equal to 0. Okay, and f of x is equal to this equation. You are given it, you can see. Okay, so we are going to find the x-intercept. So f of x is your y. You let your y equal to 0, right? And this is equal to this. Okay, and now what you can do is to divide by -2 so that you can have 1 as a coefficient there. You can see. So you divide 0 by -2, it gives you 0 equal to, you divide by -2, you get 1. So 1 times x squared, it's x squared. And you divide this +4 by -2, you get -4 by 2, you get 2x. And this +16 by -2, you get -8. Okay, so you divide by -2 throughout, and you have this. Now you can factorize. So 0 is equal to, you factorize, you have 2 brackets there, like this. Okay, so you have x squared, you can put x there and another x there. This is going to give you x squared. And now you look at this constant. This 8 can be 1 times 8 or 2 times 4. So which one are you going to use so that you get the middle term, which is -2? Is it 1 times 8 or 2 times 4? You can see from 2 times 4, you can get this. If you say 2 minus 4, you are going to get -2. So you are going to use 2 and 4, right? Because you know that 2 times 4 is 8. And from 2 and 4, you can get the middle term. If you say 2 minus 4. So you are going to have minus there and positive there. So it will be plus and minus there, right? You can see 2 minus 4 will give you -2. And you can see 2 times this -4 will give you -8. Okay, and so x is equal to -2 when you solve there, or x is equal to 4 when you solve there. Okay, so now you can see you have the x coordinate of A. You can see A is on the negative side and B is on the positive side. So obviously the x coordinate of A is -2 and the x coordinate of B is 4. You can see that A is on the negative side and B is on the positive side. So the coordinate of A are -2 and 0. This is the x coordinate and this is the y coordinate. And you know that at the x-intercept, y is 0. And the coordinate of B are 4 and 0. So you have solved for the coordinate of A and B. This is how you do it. Okay, let's do the next question. Let me get this question there. Okay, I can put it there. So the next question is 5.2. The question says, determine the coordinate of C, and C is the turning point of F. C, you can see there's C. So this question is 2 marks. Okay, so f of x is given, you still have it there, which is equal to this. It's given there. So you need to find what? The coordinate of C, and C is the turning point of F. You can see C is the turning point of F. Okay, one way to find the coordinate of the turning point is to use differentiation. You can use differentiation. You take the derivative of f of x, and then you are going to get the x coordinate. When you get the x coordinate, you plug it into f of x, and then you are going to get the y coordinate. Okay, another way is to use this formula. X is equal to negative b over 2a. So this formula is obtained from the quadratic formula, this formula. You can see you pull out your negative b from there and the 2a from there. So you have negative b over 2a. You pull it from this quadratic formula. And this quadratic formula is given on the formula sheet together with the question paper. You can get this quadratic formula. So no need to stress memorizing it. If you want to memorize, you can memorize it. It's an easy formula, but there is no need for that because this formula will be given on the formula sheet together with the question paper. Okay, to get the x coordinate of the turning point, you pull out this negative b over 2a, and when the question is arranged in this order, like from the highest power there, followed by this, and then you have the constant. So you have your a, b, and c, just like in alphabetical order, a, b, c. Okay, so x is equal to negative b over 2a. So this is equal to negative, what is your b? There's your b. B is 4 over 2a. What is your a? There's your a, negative 2. Okay, you can see there's your a. This is equal to, you have negative 4 over negative 4. This is negative 4. So the answer is 1. So this is the x coordinate of the turning point. Now you need to find the y coordinate of the turning point. So you are going to take this 1 and plug it inside f of x. So you are going to say f of 1, and then you plug 1 wherever there is x. Okay, so I can say y is equal to negative 2 times x squared. X is 1, right? So 1 square, like this, plus 4x. So plus 4 times 1, x is 1, like that, plus 16. Okay, I hope you can follow. And this is equal to, you have 16 plus 4, this is 4. You have 20 there, 16 plus 4, 20, minus, this is 2, minus 2. So you have 20 minus 2, which is 18, right? So the y coordinate of the turning point is 18. And so C, the coordinate of C is 1 and 18. Okay, so you have determined the coordinate of C, which is the turning point of F. Okay, let's do the next question, 5.3. Okay, let me get this there. Okay, so 5.3, write down the range of F. And this question is 1 mark. Okay, you need to write down the range of F. So the range of F is obtained on the y-axis. So you take all the values of y that exist for F. This is F. So you take all the values on the y-axis that exist for this function, right? So you remember C, the turning point, the coordinates are 1 and 18. So on y, you have 18. So the values that exist for F, you start from 18, you go down. So there is no value beyond 18, like going up, because you can see the highest point for this graph is there, which is on 18. So you start from there 18 all the way down to negative infinity. You can see the graph is still continuing. So you can write it as y element of negative infinity. You start with the smaller number, which is negative infinity, and then you go up to 18. So it's comma 18 like this. So from the smallest negative infinity to the highest 18 there, you can see. So this is the range of f. You say y element of this interval. You can see I have a round bracket there, which means that negative infinity is not included, because you know infinity or negative infinity is not like a number that you know, because this graph keeps on going, it keeps on going. But when it comes to 18, you know 18 is included. This is why you have a square bracket, because 18 is included. Or you can write it as y is less or equal to 18, right? Less or equal to 18. You have equal there because 18 is included, okay? So less than, you start from 18, less than, you go down, okay? So you can give the range of f like this or like this, okay? So let's move on to the next question, 5.4, on the next slide, okay? So 5.4, what is the question? The graph of h of x is equal to this as a maximum value of 15 at x equal to 2. Determine the values of p and q. Okay, you need to determine the values of p and q. The p and q. Okay, let's get the question, or rather the graph from the question, so that you can see what we are doing. Okay, so let me get it and put it here. Okay, you need to determine your P and Q. And this question is 3 marks. Okay, so you know, first of all, f of x is equal to this, what you are given there, negative 2x squared plus 4x plus 16. Okay, if we can get this f of x in this form, like this, can you see this is also another form of a parabola or a quadratic equation? You can write it like this. So now you have your P and Q inside there, you can see. So you know that the P and Q are the turning point of the graph. Okay, so these are the P and Q for f of x, but we are interested in finding the P and Q for h of x. You can see f is a function inside h. You can see that. So these are the P and Q for f. We want to find the P and Q for h, right? Because you can see f is a function inside h. Okay, let's write f of x first in this format, so that we can see the P and Q for f. And then from there, we are going to find the P and Q for h. Okay, so f of x is equal to, what is a? A is this coefficient in front of x squared. So a is equal to negative 2. In bracket, you have x minus, what is p? Remember, p is the x coordinate of the turning point. And we found that the x coordinate was 1 and the y coordinate was 18. Do you remember from the previous question? Okay, so you are going to have negative 1 there. You close the bracket, square plus 18. So remember, negative 1, when you solve it, when it comes out of the bracket, it becomes positive 1. So the turning point of f is 1 and 18, right? So this is the P and Q for f, but we are interested in finding P and Q for h, because you can see f is a function inside h. So the turning point of h of x is 2 and 15. According to this information, you have h of x as a maximum value of 15 at x equal to 2. So this tells you that the turning point of h of x is 2 and 15. 2 is the x coordinate, 15 is the y coordinate. Okay, before we can continue with this question, let's look at how the parabola behaves. Okay, let me close this. Okay, so when a is less than 0, as in this case, you can see a is negative 2. This is a. So a is less than 0. what happened? The parabola or the graph is concave down. So concave down, it looks down like this. You can see concave down. So the graph or the parabola is concave down when a is less than 0. And this graph has a maximum value. So the maximum value is found there at the turning point. Can you see there at the turning point? So you are going to find the maximum value on the y-axis. Okay. So when the graph is concave down like this, looking down, the graph has got a maximum value. And this happens when a is less than 0. So when a is greater than 0, what happened? The graph is concave up like this, looking up, you can see. And this graph has got a minimum value, right? At that point, the minimum value there at the turning point. So you find the minimum value on the y-axis. Okay, so the axis of symmetry also cuts through that point, the turning point there. Okay, so this graph has got a maximum value because this is the highest point for this graph. There is no any other point beyond this. So this is the highest point, and we say that this graph has got the maximum value. This one has got a minimum value because this is the lowest point. You can see this is the lowest point. You don't have any other lower point below this. And you should also know that the axis of symmetry will cut through that point. It will be like this, cutting through there, or like this, cutting through there, that point, the turning point. Okay, and if we can call that the turning point, right? This is the turning point. It's got the x and the y coordinate like this, and this is also the turning point, right? So if we can use this on this, it will be 2 and 15. Okay, you can see the turning point, and this is the maximum value, which is 15, which is found on the y-axis, right? Okay, let's continue with this question. So h of x is equal to, you have f of x there. Can you see? This is f of x, right? You can see it looks the same as this one. Can you see? This is f of x. You can see. Remember, f of x is a function inside h of x. Okay. In order to get 2, you should have -2 inside the bracket, because you know that when the -2 comes out of the bracket, it becomes a +2. So how can you have -2 inside the bracket there? You should subtract 1 there, because you can see -1 will give you -2. And when you solve it, when you take it out of the bracket, it becomes +2. Okay? And you have 18 there. So how can you get 15? You should what? Subtract 3 to 18. So 18 minus 3 is 15. Okay? So this is your P for h of x, and this is your Q for h of x. So P is equal to -1 and Q is equal to -3. Okay, so this is how you solve for P and Q for this question. Okay, so I hope it's clear. I would like to see your comment in the comment section. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Let's do it on the next slide. Let me get the question again. So this is the question. Question 5. Let me put it here. Okay, now it's 5.5. This is the question. You can see, determine the equation of the inverse of g, right? In the form y is equal to. And this question is 2 marks. Okay, so first of all, what is g of x? This is g of x. It's given there. G of x is equal to 2x plus 4, right? Okay, before we can find the inverse of g, you first need to change this to y. Remember, this is your y. This is the same as y. So y is equal to 2x plus 4. Now you can try to find the inverse of g. Okay, so to find the inverse of g, what you need is to swap around your x and your y. So where you have x, you put y. Where you have y, you put x. So you have y there. It's going to be x is equal to 2y. No longer 2x, but 2y plus 4, where you have y, you now have x. Where you have x, you now have y. Okay, now you need to make y the subject of the formula, because the question is to find the inverse of g in the form y is equal to. Okay, so you have x minus 4. When this positive 4 moves to the other side, it's minus 4, right? Which is equal to 2y. Now to get y, you need to divide by 2 throughout. Okay, so 2y divided by 2, it gives you y, which is equal to, and you have 1 there, over 2, it becomes 1 over 2x, like this. Okay, and negative 4 divided by 2, it becomes negative 2. Okay, so this is the answer for the inverse of g in the form y is equal to. Okay, now question 5.6. For which value or for which values of x will the inverse of g of x times g of x equal to 0? So you have the inverse of g of x times g of x equal to 0. You need to find the values of x for which the inverse of g of x times g of x is equal to 0. And this question is 2 marks. Okay, let me get the question. This is the question 5. Okay, so you can do this question. You get the inverse of g of x. This one, the one you solved from the previous question, you make it equal to 0 and then you solve for x. And you also take g of x, this one, you make it equal to 0 and then you solve for x. Okay, that is one way to do this question. Okay, let me do this. I want to do it this way. So you have the inverse of g of x, this one, in bracket. You can see this is the inverse of g of x there, right? Times, right? G of x, this is g of x. You have it in bracket there. So you can see this is the inverse of g of x and this is g of x times, okay, equal to 0. So you can do it this way, or you get the inverse of g of x, you make it equal to 0, you solve for x. And you also get g of x, you make it equal to 0, you solve for x. Or you can do it like this, as a product. You multiply the two, you make them equal to 0, as you are given it in the question, and then you solve for x. Okay, let's do this method. Okay, so now you have this times this. So this is half times 2, 2 times half, which is 1, and x times x is x squared. So you have 1x squared. So this is x squared. And then now you have this times this. So half x, or 1 over 2x times 4. So it's 4 times a half, which is 2. And this is x. So it is plus 2x. Like this. Okay. Now you have negative 2 times 2x, which is negative 4x, right? And then you have negative 2 times positive 4, which is negative 8, right? Equal to, you have 0 there, okay? So this is x squared, and 2x minus 4x is equal to negative 2x, right? 2x minus 4x is negative 2x, minus 8, right? Equal to 0. Okay, now you need to factorize. You have two brackets like this. Okay, so you have x squared there, you must have x there and another x there, because this is going to give you x squared. And 8 can be 1 times 8 or 2 times 4. So you need to obtain the middle term. You can obtain the middle term from 2 and 4. You know that 2 and 4 will give you the middle term, and because 2 times 4 is equal to 8, so you must have 2 there and 4 there. 2 times 4 is 8. From 2 and 4 you can get the middle term negative 2. If you have negative there and positive there, it's going to be 2 minus 4, it will give you negative 2. So you must have positive there and negative there, right? You can see when you have negative there, it means that the signs in the bracket are going to be different. Okay, I think I should make a video on factorization to explain this. Okay, for now, let's solve this question. Okay, so this is equal to 0. Okay, and so x is equal to -2 when you solve, or x is equal to 4, right? So for which values of x will the inverse of g of x times g of x equal to 0? For x equal to -2 and x equal to 4. So when x is equal to -2 or x is equal to 4, this is going to be equal to 0. Okay, we have solved for question 5.6. Okay, let's move on to the next question. I think it's the last question. Okay, let's do it on the next slide. So 5.7, this is the question. If p of x is equal to this, determine the values of k for which p and g will not intercept. Okay, so p of x is equal to this, f of x plus k, right? Determine the values of k for which p and g will not intercept. And this question is 5 marks. Okay, let's get p of x first. P of x is equal to f of x plus k. What is f of x? You remember f of x from the question. This is f of x, -2x squared plus 4x plus 16. Okay, this is f of x plus k, right? Plus k. So this is p of x, all this. So you have f of x plus k. This is f of x plus k, and now this is p of x. Okay, let's get g of x. What is g of x? We also need g of x because we are trying to find for which values of k will p and g not intercept. Okay, so what is g of x? G of x is this one, 2x plus 4, right? It's given. Okay, so let me close this. So you need to find when p is not equal to g. That's when they are not going to intercept, right? We need to find when p is not equal to g. Okay, so let me get this down. P of x is this, right? This one, not equal to, what is g of x? This one. Okay, so this is p and this is g. Okay, we want to find the values of k for which p will not intercept with g. This is why I have not equal in between. Okay, so let's get everything to one side. Okay, so we have -2x squared there, and you have this and this. They are like terms, so 4x minus 2x. When the 2x moves from this side to the other side, it is 4x minus 2x, which is plus 2x. And you have 16 minus 4. The 4 moves to the other side, right? 16 minus 4, which is plus 12. And then you have plus k, right? Not equal to 0. Okay, so we have brought everything to one side. Now, to determine the values of k for which p and g will not intercept, you are going to use the discriminant from the quadratic formula. So you are going to use the discriminant from the quadratic formula, this quadratic formula. Okay, there's the discriminant in blue. You can see it underneath the square root sign. It's there in blue. This is what we call the discriminant. Okay, when the discriminant is greater than 0, this is when you have two real solutions. Okay, when the discriminant is equal to 0, this is when you have one real solution. I want you to know this. Okay, and when the discriminant is less than 0, you have no real solutions. Okay, but you have two imaginary solutions. Okay, for this two imaginary solution, forget it. This is not the scope for grade 12 mathematics. For now, don't stress about this. Okay, I want you to keep in mind that when the discriminant is less than 0, there is no real solutions. Forget about this. This is not the scope for grade 12 mathematics. Just know that when the discriminant is less than 0, there is no real solution. And when the discriminant is equal to 0, there is one real solution. When the discriminant is greater than 0, you have two real solutions. So we are interested in the discriminant being less than 0. This is when you have no real solution. And this is going to help us to solve when P and G will not intercept. We are going to look at this because this says there is no real solution. We are interested in finding no solution. That is when P and G will not intercept. So we are going to use this one, B squared minus 4AC less than 0. So you have B squared, this is B, so it's 2 squared, like this, minus 4. What is your A? Your A is negative 2, right? Times C, this is your C, 12 plus K. This is your C, right? Less than 0. This is equal to 4. 2 to the power of 2 is 4. This is 8. You have minus there, 4 times 2. So it's plus 8, right? Times this in bracket, 12 plus K, less than 0. Okay, so you have 4 plus 8 times 12 is 96. 8 times K, it's plus 8K, right? Less than 0. Okay, and this is equal to 4 plus 96, 100, plus 8K, right? Less than 0. Okay, so let's carry over here. So 8K, right, is less than, you bring the 100 to the other side, it's less than negative 100. Okay, 8K is less than negative 100. So you need to solve for K. You divide by 8 on this side, it's K, which is less than negative 100 divided by 8, it's negative 12.5. Okay, so for which values of K will P and G not intercept? For the values of K less than negative 12.5. So this is all about question 5 from May-June 2021 past exam paper. Okay, if you like this video, make sure you subscribe, leave a comment below, and let me know what else you would like to see me cover in future videos. As for now, take care of yourself and see you in the upcoming videos. Okay.